Dear students, welcome back to my channel. Today in this session, we can understand the topic Application Programming Interfaces. What is the meaning of API? Let us describe very briefly. So API stands for Application Programming Interface, a set of rules that allow software applications to communicate. It acts as a bridge between different software systems. Example, a mobile app uses an API to talk to a server. There are different types of APIs. In terms of web APIs, we can make use of REST or SOAP protocols. In terms of library APIs, we have jQuery and NumPy. In operating system API, we have Windows API. In terms of hardware APIs, we have Camera API and Bluetooth API. So let us understand an example, Weather API. So here, a weather app on your mobile phone can send a request to a weather API by making use of open weather map. API responds with the temperature, humidity, forecast, etc. Then this app can display the information to the end user. So here the API request and response example. So here in terms of request, we can make use of this get method. So the get followed by, we are looking for the weather in place London. So here we are giving an attribute that is what is the weather in city London, and we are getting back the response as city London and temperature is 22 and the condition is sunny. So here we are getting back the response as a JSON format and the request is forwarded using get method. So benefits of APIs. So it is reusable one and it can be integrated. So we can connect different systems in terms of platform independent or operating system independent. The systems can be integrated and it is efficiency one. So faster development with existing tools and it is a highly scalable. We can expand the functionality through external APIs. Now let us describe very briefly about RESTful APIs. So REST stands for Representational State Transfer. It is an architectural style for designing networked application. It uses a HTTP request to access and use the data, and it is stateless and scalable, common in web services and mobile apps. So real-time examples of APIs. So in terms of weather app, we can get the live weather data, and you are making use of Google Map. So that shows the location on map. Then payment gateway. It is another examples of APIs that can process online payment. Then social media, that is we can search or post user data in social medias. We can take an example of online food delivery app. So that is a real-time example Swiggy or Uber Eats. So here this mobile app that the client can make a HTTP request to the backend server and we can make use of the list of methods. That is a get is the method that is used to list the number of restaurants available. Then post, that is method can be used to order and we are going to place an order for a food in this app. Next one, put is the method that can update an existing details. So based on this ID of this order, we are going to update the existing records. Then delete, we can cancel an order based on this ID of this food what we have ordered. So here we can make use of list of HTTP methods to process a list of CRUD operations in terms of read the data and store the data in the database server and update the existing data and delete the records from this existing table. Next one, RESTful API architecture. So here we have a client that can send HTTP request. So client can be either browser or mobile app. Then the server can be used to process the request and returns the response either as a JSON or XML format. And it is a stateless one in terms of REST API. That is, each call is independent. So for each request, the client needs to send the necessary details for further processing to the server. Then resources. So here represented as URLs like users, orders, all other information. So here when we are going to make a request, the resources can be represented as this number of keywords. And HTTP methods, we can make use of list of HTTP methods to perform the actions in terms of read, update, delete, and create a new record in our database table. So here, these are the list of methods. Get is one of the HTTP methods that can be used to retrieve the data from the database server. Then post is the method that can be used to create a new resource. Put is the method that is used to update existing resources. Delete method can be used to remove the resource. And patch is another method that can update the resource partially. Benefits of REST API. It is easy to understand and it is very easy to use. Then scalable and stateless. Platform and language independent. Then widely supported by tools and libraries. Sample REST API call. So here let us understand a simple RESTful API for managing student records. So we are making use of an URL that is API followed by students. So that is the endpoints identified by this URL. So here that supports basic CRUD operations using HTTP methods. For example, if we want to retrieve all students, then we are going to make a request that is get. So get is the method that is going to read the existing records from this database table. So here get API students. Students is the endpoint followed by API. So here we are going to retrieve all students. The response is we are getting two records here. First one, ID of the student 1 and name Alice and age equal 20. Then second one, ID 2, name equal to Bob and age equal 22. So it is a type of array of JavaScript, array in JavaScript that represents records. So here we have two records we have retrieved from the database server. Next one, we are retrieving a record based on this ID. So here, by making use of this get request, followed by API, followed by students, and what is the student ID? That is 1. So here, retrieve student by ID. So we are getting ID 1, name equal to Alice, and age equal 20. So this is the JSON format. There we are defining all the values by enclosing within these double quotes. Next one, we want to update an existing student record. For that, we are giving the request as put. That is one of the HTTP methods. So put followed by the URL API/students and register number 1. So here we are going to update an existing student. So here we are going to overwrite an existing record by giving the name as Alice updated and age equal 21. Now we are getting back the response where we have updated the existing record. So we are getting back the response as a JSON format. So the ID of the student equal to 1 and name equal to Alice updated followed by age equal to 21. Next one, to perform delete operation, we have HTTP delete method. So delete is one of the methods of HTTP to perform delete operation here. So based on the student ID 1, I want to delete the record. So here we are getting back the response that is student deleted successfully. So that particular record, student number 1, that has been removed successfully from this database server. Next one, let us understand data exchange between client and server. So here, this is the architecture describes a client server model. So here, client can send the request. So the request is forwarded using HTTP protocol. We can make use of any one of the methods, get, post, put, delete. So here the request is forwarded to the server by making use of this URL. So the DNS server can identify the IP address of the remote server and where the request has been forwarded. And we are going to download the requested resource from this remote server. Now, we are getting back the response as a JSON format that will be given back to this end user. Example, we are getting back the record name Archana and age equal to 40. That has been enclosed within these curly braces. So what is client server architecture? So client, it can be a device or program that requests data or services, whereas a server, a system that provides data or services. Example, web browser is the client that gives a request to download a web page from the remote web server. So how do they communicate? So through a network, usually making use of internet. Communication uses protocols like HTTP or HTTPS. And here data is exchanged in formats like JSON, XML, or HTML between client and server. So common data formats, JSON stands for JavaScript Object Notation, whereas XML stands for Extensible Markup Language, HTML stands for Hypertext Markup Language. So where in terms of REST API, we can get back the response either JSON or XML format. So thank you, students. I hope you understand the concept. Thank you so much.